You know, thanks for coming out. If you were just here for the music, that's really cool. I'm going to do a bit of a tech run through of how we run the Whiskey Wednesday show, just to keep it on file and have some information for people who are looking to do similar things. There's lots of bands and musicians out there. And if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be having everybody in the studio here doing their live shows from here. It's actually an idea that I have for a sort of venue coming up soon. And I think it'd be a really cool thing to do. But either way, I just helping out by showing some of that. And then after, I'll take any questions on sort of, gear and posters and things that I have around, the records, stuff that people often ask about. So we'll do a little walkthrough. So as you can see right now, I have in my ears these things here. So I'm going to take them out. So these are called in-ear monitors. IEMs would be the the term for them if you're looking them up online. They are basically a very very high fidelity and high resistant impact drivers to music. Can you use them as like a regular pair of headphones? Absolutely. I listen to them. I use them when I'm walking with my iPod all the time. They're great. It's a really good investment. You can get them for like, you can get them for $70 or $100 at Long McQuaid, or if you get into the more professional ones that you're using on where you need a much better driver and sound isolation and stuff, you get into some of the bigger ones that range from the $300 to $1,000 range. These are some mid-grade ones. They work great for me. I absolutely love them. They're nice little things, and I'm laying them on top of. So these are just plugged into a little mixer over there that I'll show you, so you can see how I got. We've got a couple of mics, a little, it's just an AKG acoustic guitar mic. That's the one that I've been using for the acoustics for a while. It's actually Neil's. It's quite a lovely sounding guitar. It works on a ton of things, but it's the C451 is the number on it if anybody's looking for that. It's a really nice, I found it in the studio. It's really good for acoustic stuff, and I actually use it on my guitar amp on the trainer over there as well when I'm recording with the Gretsch. So it's a beautiful mic for that. This is the Slate. This is the Slate microphone. There's a number and a name for it. I'm not sure what it is. It's I heard about it. It comes with a bunch of, if you use Pro Tools or Logic or any sort of audio suite, it comes with plugins that allow you to emulate microphones. But the way that they have this is set up as like their flat bass line, so that then they can reference all these other EQ curves against it. Slate are one of these companies that I find is way ahead of the curve when it comes to all the technology stuff. I recommend everything that I've used by them. Some people might say, because when I started doing the Whiskey Wednesdays last year, I was using a Neumann, a U87, I think it was, and I love the sound of it. And I tried this, and I went, I can hear the difference when I isolate and compress and do all this stuff, but is it like, I don't know, this is a much more affordable choice. And if you do run it through the plugins, you can get all kinds of cool mic emulations out of it too. I just use it straight. I love it as a microphone. So that's what I do for the two ends on the channel. So you have a basic, the audio, I'll go through it first, and it's for those of you who don't know, I'll make it as simple as I can. There's a basic path. You have the microphones, which have cables coming out of them. The cables then go into a mixer. In my case, I'm using a digital mixer over there. This is my Pro Tools rig. If you want to just shine that over here, Caitlin. This is the session that I have for Wednesday nights, and you can see I'm just using Tizzard and the Gretsch right now, those two microphones. So there's just two mics in there. So my two microphones, I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me. Let me just check and make sure. I'm going to turn this one on. Hold on. Where's Neil's folks? Can you hear that now? Is that better? Hopefully that's a better audio now that I'm away from those mics. If it's too loud, tell me. So the mics all come into the Pro Tools rig. These are the interfaces, and then it gets processed with just as you can see, a little tiny bit of EQ, and then just a touch of reverb. If you don't have sort of something like this, and you're dealing with two microphones, and you don't have sort of sends and stuff, put one microphone in the back of the room with the reverb on it, so when you're talking, it doesn't sound all reverby, but when you sing louder, the reverb catches on the second mic. It's a little trick you can do. So it's a basic two mic audio setup for this. When the full band is here, we have a bunch of, a full setup. Everything is mic'd up, and we don't always plug the bass amp in because of the rumble from it. In this environment for a live show, you don't really notice the difference between a microphone bass or a DI bass that's been, put it through a miking amp type thing. So that's all cool. So we usually shut that off because then the cameras shake. Camera shake is something we've been dealing with for a while here. I'll get to the camera stuff in a little bit. A basic setup on the mics, kick, snare, hat, nice overheads. Just got those Aston overheads. They're really neat. I quite like them. I'm not much of a guy on things. I know the basics of stuff, so don't ask me any questions on mic curves and stuff because I won't be able to answer. So that's the audio. So then the neat part is, this is where what I couldn't figure out was, okay, I've got my audio going into my computer and I've got it coming out my speakers. How do I get it? So now how do I get it to into Facebook? And of course, when you're using an iCamera, if you go to Facebook Live with it, you're just using the audio from there. So I had to find something that worked as an in-between. So this unit here, thank you, Caitlin. This iRig down here, see this thing here? This is an iRig by IK Media, I believe, the iRig Pro. So I take my two outs from my computer, which would go to speakers, and I plug them into the left right there, and then this plugs into my iPad, which then does the broadcast of the show. Now, from the iPad, you can see, I'm going to move this one here for a second. Is this one still connected so I can do a demo with it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so from the iPad, which you're looking at now, Caitlin? Mm-hmm. So we're in a thing called Switcher Studio right now. Switcher Studio allows me to set up different iPhones on the same wireless platforms. Like right now, you're looking at the phone that Caitlin is holding with the gimbal, this one right here. Now, if I press this, now you guys are looking at this camera here, which is Neil's cell phone set up over in the corner. And it's just on a little blank tripod by itself. So when I'm speaking, Caitlin just throws that one on. And then when she wants to move again, she throws this one on. Now I'm just going to throw on Caitlin's phone for a second so you can see Caitlin. I want Caitlin to hold the gimbal up. Let's see where Caitlin is. There she is. So this thing here Caitlin has is called a gimbal. Just kind of move it around a bit, Caitlin. It's just an electronic device that as she moves it, the image stays straight. So she can do all this neat camera work almost by just sitting in a chair. Look at how happy she is. What do you think for bangs, folks? Pretty cool, eh? Okay, so back to Caitlin's gimbal video there again. She's going to get mad at me for that later. So we've got Switcher Studio here. So Switcher allows you that. And before we had the gimbals and that sort of movement, we were using static cameras. And you can put as many cameras in here as you want. So Steve had a phone, Allison had a phone, I had a few iPhones. So we had about 7 phones just around. And then Caitlin, just through pressing buttons, would go from one camera to the other. You can also put media in here that will show up as video, like there's the video you watched. And you can turn that off. I'm not sure how you turn that off. How do you turn that off? 1, 2, 3. See, I don't know much about this. This is Caitlin's job. Anyways, so this is the application called Switcher Studio. There is a monthly subscription on it, but I would not be able to do this show here the way that I like to do it without it. From Switcher Studio, it goes to another company called Restream. And Restream then collects the signal, buffers it so you don't get interference, and then they redistribute it to as many platforms as you want. So that's how I get it to Twitter, YouTube, my Facebook page, my 3 other Facebook pages. Anyways, a bunch of places. So you can broadcast to multi-places at the same time. So that's kind of that. So we went over the cameras. I'm using iPhones, and there's a lot of great software out there that works for that. Yeah, I should probably take a look and see if there's any general questions. Or is there anybody even left? Okay, good, yeah. So Steve Dag is watching. Sounds good. Okay, the mic sounds great. Nice acoustic sound. Okay, good night all. Spending some time with you. Love to see you, Betty. Okay, so anybody have any, can you recommend a brand? The Shure IEMs are the ones that I use. They're great. But there are lots of others. I'll post a link for what I have there. So, okay, so we've got basic, you can have a one camera thing. Like when I started doing these shows a year ago, it was one camera. I put it on a tripod. I actually taped it to a mic stand, and Caitlin put a light on my face, and we broadcast live, and the sound wasn't bad, and the video wasn't bad. But after doing it, week after week, I've spent some time getting it together. So this is still the gear that we're using now. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Minimal setup, what are we talking about? If you want the most cost efficient setup is buy a, go to this here, Caitlin, this mic stand, or this is one of the stands. I think it was $12 on Amazon, and it's specifically designed for an iPhone. Order that for yourself, put your iPhone on it, press play, and or press record and go live. That's the simplest and cheapest way to do it. Anything you spend after that is money that you're investing into a luxury hobby, because it is a great thing, but it's a lot of money to get into if you want to get things going really good. So yeah, that's the simplest way. Next way, a 1-channel or 2-channel interface or a small mixer with 1 or 2 microphones, as I showed you, and that's a pretty simple setup, and you can broadcast straight from that, or into something bigger like I have, where you get into the sort of $500 to $1,000 preamps and stuff like that, and it gets quite expensive. But at the same time, I'm not using any of that here right now. I'm just using a Focusrite 8-channel preamp. I've actually got 2 of them, but the small one is just an 8-channel. That's only a couple $100. You can get yourself a preamp interface for a couple $100 usually, with 4 or 8 channels, and they're all, they're pretty good for live broadcasting. They're great. Or get a board that has something that's going to just pump it out for you. Lots of nice little power boards. I bought the what was that thing, that Mix 24? That's what I use for live. It's also another Tascam, the Tascam Mix 24. Great board. And I was doing the shows here. I could put 24 channels right into that and just come out of that right into this little thing here, bypassing the computer altogether. It's an amazing thing. Tascam, and I think they have a Model 16 right now, which is a smaller version of it. Really cost efficient, great little recorder and mixer. Okay, any questions? Android is the same idea as far as I know. Okay, so any other questions about the gear and stuff before I start sort of doing the room walk here with Caitlin? Okay, so what's that?
The lights.
The lights? Oh yeah. Again, these lights come from. Lighting is pretty important, but I really don't have the lighting down, as you can see by my blue and red hat tonight. These are little tiny lights. Again, I think they were $12 each, and they come with 4 color palettes. They're really ugly, they're really crappy, but you put them in a corner and they kind of do what they're supposed to do to make something look and feel the way, like when we're rehearsing, I face them into the corners, and it feels more like a club than anything else, which is where I'm used to living. So let's see where we are here. Okay, nice to see you, Kristen. I'm glad that you enjoyed and that you made it out today. So let's walk through here. Some people were asking about guitars and stuff. I'll tell you what I can about stuff. This is actually Neil's. I think it's his 62 replica. Yeah, it's his 62 Telly replica, which I believe was for sale for a while. Not that I'm trying to pitch things for sale tonight, but it's a beautiful sounding guitar. Needs a soldering job on the inside switch right now before I can use it again. But it's a great little thing. This is a great little photo of me and Neil walking in a windstorm in Newfoundland on one of our first gigs. It always brings back memories. These things here, by the way, if you're running a studio at all, if you look around the room as we go around, you'll see these panels everywhere. We've got them in the corner. They're totally sort of absorbent, and they're filled with insulation, and they change the way that frequencies move around the room, therefore making the room a little bit better sounding, so that you can hear things better. There's less room ambience. I don't know, sometimes when you're doing home recordings, you'll hear like a, as you turn things up, you get more. That's just room noise, and you can get rid of a lot of that by treating a room professionally. I had a guy in Peterborough come down. He did this room for, it was pretty cheap. He was just getting out of school and setting up shop, so it got done pretty cheap, but he did a great job. If anybody wants his name or number, you can reach out to me. I can set you up on that. Okay, while we're over here, well, we've got the pile of mess, which every studio has, usually with some old booze around it. Yeah, that's a maple whiskey, really sweet for sipping. Humidifier. It's gotten really humid right now, but that's one of the most important things to have around when you have acoustics. I'll walk you through the acoustics here. This is my J200 sort of thing. It's a Taylor. I use it instead of a J200, and I absolutely love the sound of it. This guitar is beautiful. I got it through a very dear friend years ago, and it's one of my favorites. It's got a perfect time and place, but it's almost too, sometimes it's almost too delicate to play. I'm afraid I'm going to scratch it. This is another one of Neil's. This is an interesting one. This is a bit of a Frankenstein. Telly strap put together with those Seymour Duncans. Everything's push-pull on it. It's a really, really neat little unit. Again, just one of Neil's sticking around there. Oh, we've got Gibson's. What is? Oh, that's Neil's. Yeah, another one of Neil's in there. Oh, I forgot he was playing that. That's his 339, I think. And that's my 51 J45. I don't know much about numbers and ages and all that stuff. I just, when the guy bought it, it was a 51. It's been restored. It was in a fire, so the top was rebuilt. Plays really nice. I absolutely love it. I've recorded most of my last few records with that one. We've got this one here. This is one that Caitlin was playing for a while. She really likes this one. What do they call these? This is the Fender Carbonita, I think. Carbonetta, something like that. It's a really nice, semi sort of acoustic sounding thing, semi-electric thing. Mr. Grant's bass. This thing is just beautiful. This thing has been through the war, and this is Mr. Grant's, and he plays it like a, you know what he does. But I love having that here too. I'm going to move on through the studio. Some posters, the old original Whiskey Wednesday stuff. And then some artwork from Johnny Cash, taken out with the concert ticket. Some Tim Lee art. Jam in the Trees, which I was lucky enough to be a part of a few years ago with some great people. Just an amazing sort of semi-bluegrassy type thing down in North Carolina. It was great.
That Telecaster is called a Cabronita.
Cabronita, okay, yeah.
And someone said, "Who's Neil?"
Oh.
Hi, I'm Neil.
That's Neil over there. Neil's the guitar player for Music for Goats, and he's the one who's been taking care of us for a couple of years here. So, and then this is just a little, this is originally where the drums get set up, but the couch is here now. It's the most uncomfortable couch in the world, but it does pull out if a member ever needs to sleep here. This thing is cool, this trainer. I use this for conferences. When you have to do like little 20 to 100 seat rooms with acoustic guitars and you want to have a bass player. This small block by Trainer is unbelievable. It's lightweight. It punches. We've used it so much. It's just an incredible piece of gear. And I know a lot of bands out there are doing the conference thing. Well, when we get back to doing it, once all this crap is over with. This is my Gretsch. My Gretsch is. Yes, the Newfoundland flag, of course, hangs. The Newfoundland flag hides the closet of shame, which every musician or studio has. Just a lot of things that are cases and stuff like that. So, Newfoundland flag, my pride and joy, hangs and covers that. This is my Gretsch that I got for Christmas a few years back. And it has changed my life towards playing guitar. Everything about what I do has changed because of this. I've never ever played anything like it. I'm getting to know it more and more every day, and it's a one of a kind, made by one of the people at the custom shop, and it was a one-off that made its way to a Canadian store through a raffle out of one of the NAMM shows, I believe. And I saw it and fell in love with it, and then it appeared Christmas Day, which was amazing. So I love this. This is where I do most everything. And I'm doing it through this amp right now. This is an old Trainer amp. I've got two massive 15s or 12s. I think they're 12s. They could be 15s. I don't even know what this stuff is. These are things that have come my way. This used to belong to Joe Kelly. So when Joe died, Terry reached out to me and said, how about you put my dad's amp in your studio and put it to use? And I've been using it ever since. I just love it. And it just so happens I'm endorsed by Trainer, so everything else that I use, modern stuff, is all Trainer as well. So I just love that. It sounds brilliant. And this cabinet, even though it's big, is light as a feather. So it's a great mix. And I turn it on and it sounds great. I don't even know what I'm doing secret-wise. There's no secrets. Turn it on. It sounds good. Excellent. Up above it is my 29 Regal. That's what I recorded Lost and All with. Beautiful little parlor guitar. Feels like a ukulele when I play it. Real tiny thing, but it's got a massive sound. And then the poster from Merlefest 2017 when I played there, that was an amazing night. Great memories there. Amazing weekend. I mean, geez, what a time. Yeah, it was a great show. And then part of my trainer Watchmen rig, that's the 410 with the YBA 300, which is a massive tube amp, and I love it. I usually pair that with another 410 or a 18 as well for Watchmen shows. But it sits here in the studio and gets used by Mr. Grant when we're actually tracking. We don't use it for the shows because it's too much vibration, but when we're tracking, we want the bass tone, so we get that out of there. And then, the Matt McPhee guitar back here, it's got the Newfoundland 1944 penny in it. That was an acoustic guitar made by Matt McPhee from Newfoundland for me years and years ago. It's a beautiful little thing, but it needs some work. And it sits there and reminds me of Newfoundland all the time. Assorted pedals, every studio has random things. Some of it's rare, some of it's not. Even the stuff that's not rare was owned by somebody or other, so I don't have a lot of it, but I got enough that I can get done what I need to. The fiddle that I bought in Volgograd, Russia, when I went there with Growl, I think I paid $70 US for it, which is a lot of money. Above that is Clarissa Cox's portrait of me, one that she did for her book. Philadelphia Folk Festival, 56th anniversary. That's the one that I played at, and I absolutely had a wonderful time there. Met so many great people, and that was my first time at the Philly Folk Fest, and what a time. Next to that is the little Newfoundland mummer that I think I got from Neil's sister. Those little weird blocky things you see, those are diffusers. They're strategically placed there. They break up the sound again like the other things, but in a different way. It allows the room to have it's a small room, but it allows me to get different sounds in different places. Again, I don't know a hell of a lot about it. I just kind of know what sounds like what where, so that's that. We got some more trainer gear here. This is the trainer. This is the little acoustic amp that they have with like 3 inputs in it. I've done 100 seats with just that. You plug a microphone and a guitar into it. Then there's a few more trainer things here. There's I think it's the YGA3, and then there's the 212 down there, and a Dark Horse. This stuff is all amazing gear. We got more guitars on the wall. The one up on the far corner in the right there. Hold on, I'm just going to turn the light. This is the one that Peavy built for me when I played the Tonight Show with Thornley. I showed up in my dressing room, or showed up in my hotel room the day that I checked into my hotel in LA before we played the Tonight Show. So that was kind of cool. It was nice to be endorsed by such a great company for many years. Fantastic. Another Gretsch is a 12-string that we haven't really had much chance to try out yet. Just a little. I'm sure we'll always need 12 strings. So. Lots of memorabilia around the room. That's the Whiskey Wednesday 7-year anniversary because it was on Halloween that year. So Cassidy did the little posters on that. Hope you can all still hear me fine. What's this? Oh, this is my original telly. This was one that I got from, it's another one I got from Matt. And then I got a cranium neck from Peterborough, which is a really nice solid neck. And that was my main one in KTBI. This is the one that I used when we were doing all the guitar stuff, which was fun. Merlefest and Johnny Cash. Oh, this thing here is very interesting. This is Ellie Kelly's her accordion, her button accordion. Another part of the Kelly heritage, which I keep here in the studio. I don't play it. I will someday get around to figuring it out. But I love having it. It puts a real smile on my face every time I see it, which is quite neat. And this is the, I don't know what you call this, the wall, I guess. We've got Silent Radar, McLaren Furnace Room, In the Trees, and Slow Motion Gold and Platinum records, and then is that a Thornley Gold for Come Again? I thought there was another one. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Anyway, some Gold and Platinum records. I might not have them all up. They're great. I'm really proud of them. I am. I don't have them all. Up in the other corner over here, we've got some more portrait work from Clarissa. Ron Hines' first single of Sonny's Dream up there, and a little crappy mandolin just for sketching out ideas. And then there's the studio, which is basically just a Pro Tools rig. I am using these Dyne Audio speakers, which I love. All Focusrite preamps. I'm using the Liquid Sapphire 56 and a Octapre, I think it's called. They work really well together. It's older kit, but it works. through my big tower that I was told can never be fixed and now runs like a charm, thanks to a gentleman in Mississauga who, if you're looking for computer repairs, I can send you his way. A few bits and pieces of stuff on my desk that are really not of any interest, I don't think. But that's kind of it. And then there's Steve's drums, which I kind of bypassed because they're in the center of everything. Well, that's it. That's the studio. That's where I live. That's where I spend most of my time. See if I got any questions here before I. You ever how you get that nasty crunchy bass sound running high? Yeah, Rod, that's a SVT SVT tube amp. One of the original. One of the SVT first pros before they went classic. You get that thing and you punch it up nice and loud, you will get that bass tone. It's amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So is there any other questions here? Do you play the fiddle? I've been trying for years. No, I don't. That red stripe has been there for weeks. That's Steve's. Yeah, we've got the red stripe there and the little pub bottle as well. Those are just things, Steve drinks the red stripe, so we left those there. Little pub, little, showing little props for my favorite little living room in town here. Okay, have the Garnet amps. Yes, I don't have a Garnet currently. Joey's got some. They're great. I absolutely love them. Again, I'm not such a gearhead. The thing is, I'm still learning how to play guitar. But that Gretsch, that thing has a sound. It plays. I hate to say it plays itself. That sounds so cheesy. It does its thing. It does its thing when you play it, and you kind of follow where it leads you. And it doesn't lead me to putting all kinds of effects on it. So I'm just enjoying it right now. Maybe I'll get there eventually. And when I do, I'll call Joey and ask him all the secrets. He's the guitar wizard. Okay, well, folks, that's it. If you got any questions, or if you are doing setups and you're looking to get into this stuff, feel free to email me, drop me a line somehow on the internet, and I'll send you a list of whatever equipment I'm using, or if you need something in specific, if I know about it, I can help you out. Thank you all very much. You take care, and check out the podcast. I should have it up this week sometime. You can start listening as well as watching. Anyways, have a good night, folks. Love you all. Cheers. Bye.